Cancer. There is a particular kind of decision that someone makes about another person, and it is the decision that organizes everything else in this reading. The decision is this: they have decided you are the one they want. Not in the speculative sense, not in the wondering whether this could work sense, in the settled, internally completed sense. The decision has been made. They have arrived at it through their own process, which has taken longer than the current moment suggests. And now, having arrived, they are organizing their movements around the decision. The organizing is producing observable effects in their life, and the effects are moving in your direction. The May 2026 inches, the title is not arbitrary. It is the window in which their movement toward you becomes visible in ways that you will be able to recognize. I want to take a moment to honor the specificity of what I just said, because this is not a generic prediction about someone being interested in you. The energy I am picking up is more focused than that. There is a specific person who has reached a specific conclusion about you, and the conclusion has produced a specific commitment in them to act on what they have decided. The commitment is unusual. Most people do not commit at this level to pursuing someone. They prefer to keep options open, to hedge against rejection, to maintain plausible deniability about their own investment. This person has set those preferences aside. They have committed. The commitment is what is producing the energy I am sensing. I want to describe how they arrived at the decision, because the arrival itself is meaningful. They did not arrive at it through a single dramatic moment. They arrived at it through accumulation. Over a period of time, they were observing you, sometimes from closer range and sometimes from further. The observations were producing a cumulative picture in their mind. The picture was becoming more substantial than they expected it to. At some point, perhaps without conscious awareness of when exactly, they crossed a threshold. The crossing was the recognition that what they had been observing had produced a settled response in them. The settled response is, in the language of romantic feeling, something close to certainty. They became certain about you while you were continuing your ordinary life, without necessarily knowing that they were arriving at certainty about you. The certainty did not stay private. It began to produce internal restructuring on their side. They started making different decisions about how to spend their time and energy. They started prioritizing things that brought them into proximity, actual or virtual, with you. They started declining things that would have moved them in directions incompatible with the certainty they had developed. The restructuring has been ongoing for some time. The restructuring is now reaching the point where it produces visible external action. The visible external action is what May 2026 is the window for. I want to address the title of this reading directly, because it contains particular language that I want to examine with you. The title speaks of someone coming to get you. It speaks of no one else being able to have you. It speaks of you not moving. The language is the language of claim. I want to address what the language means and what it does not mean, because I think the difference matters. What the language does not mean is that this person sees you as a possession. They do not see you as a possession. They are not approaching you with the assumption that you are an object to be acquired. They have too much respect for you for that framing. The language of claim, when it appears in the context of significant romantic feeling, is often a way of expressing the intensity of preference rather than the assertion of ownership. They prefer you specifically in a way that excludes substitutes. They are not interested in alternatives. They want this specific person, you, and they want you in a defined, exclusive relationship. The wanting is intense. The intensity expresses itself in language that sounds claim-like, but underneath the language is a more mature substance. What the language does mean is that they have stopped considering you as one option among others. You are the option for them. The exclusivity is in their interior, regardless of whatever the actual external relationship turns out to be. They are not looking at other people in the way they might have before they arrived at certainty about you. They are not entertaining backup plans. They are operating internally as if you are already the partner they have chosen, even though no formal commitment has yet been made between you. The internal commitment is producing the external movement that is approaching. I want to take a moment to address you because the reading so far has been about them, but you are the recipient of what is approaching, and your interior matters as much as theirs. There may be a part of you that finds the intensity of what I am describing somewhat overwhelming. The intensity is real, and intensity can be hard to receive, especially if you have been operating in a more measured romantic register. I want to gently say that the intensity does not require you to match it in your initial response. You can receive what is being offered at your own pace. The receiving does not have to be in proportion to the offering. You can accept what feels appropriate to you when it feels appropriate. You are not obligated to be swept up. You are allowed to engage with what is happening at the level of your own readiness. There may also be a part of you that is moved by the intensity. Being wanted with this specificity is something most people do not get to experience. It is, in its own way, a significant gift. You are allowed to be moved. The being moved is the appropriate response to receiving something rare. Let yourself feel what you feel, including the parts that are positive. You do not have to manage the emotional response into something more measured than it actually is. There may also be a part of you that is uncertain about whether to trust the intensity, whether something this focused can be sustainable, whether the person on the other side will continue to feel this way over time, or whether the current intensity is a temporary feature of a particular phase. These are reasonable questions. I want to address them. Intensity at this depth, when it has formed through the kind of accumulation I described, tends to be more sustainable than intensity that forms quickly. The slow formed intensity is built on a foundation of actual observation and consideration. It is not the kind of intensity that fades when the novelty wears off, because it was never primarily driven by novelty. It was driven by recognition of substance. The recognition does not fade. It continues to operate over time, sometimes deepening, rarely diminishing. This is Cancer Tarot, and I want to slow down to address a particular feature of how this person is preparing to approach you. They are not going to approach you in a way that overwhelms you. They are aware that the intensity of their feeling could be overwhelming if expressed without calibration. They are calibrating, they are figuring out how to approach in a way that gives you room to engage with the situation on your own terms. The calibration is one of the markers of who they are as a person. People who care about someone at the level this person cares about you are usually careful with how they express the caring. They do not want to scare the other person. They want to invite, not pressure. I want to describe how the approach will probably unfold. The first sign you will receive is something subtle, a message that is slightly more substantive than usual, a gesture that suggests more care than the situation required, a piece of attention that is more focused than what you have been receiving. The first sign is not the full approach. It is the test of whether you are receptive to engagement. They are paying attention to your response to the first sign. Your response will inform their next move. If you respond with openness, even small openness, they will continue. If you respond with closing or with distance, they will reconsider their timing. After the first sign, if you respond with openness, there will be a series of increasingly substantial engagements. Each will move the situation slightly forward. None will be so large as to overwhelm. The progression will be gradual, in the manner of someone who is being thoughtful about pacing. By the time the May 2026 window has fully expressed itself, the cumulative effect of the progression will be substantial. You will know, by the end of the window, that something significant has occurred. I want to mention what kind of conversation is likely to occur somewhere in the progression. There will be a conversation in which this person communicates, in some form, the depth of what they have arrived at. The communication may not be a full declaration of everything they feel. It may be more measured, but the communication will convey enough that you will understand that this is not a casual situation. You will understand that they are serious. You will understand that the seriousness is calibrated to a specific commitment, not just to a vague interest. The understanding will give you the information you need to respond from your own clarity. Whatever your response is, the conversation will produce the clarity that allows the next phase to be navigated honestly. I want to address something specific about the timing within May 2026. I cannot give you a specific day. The energy is active across the broader window, with the most concentrated movement occurring in the middle to later portions of the window. You may experience signs earlier in the window, and you may experience the more significant developments toward the end. The full unfolding will span the window. By the end of May 2026, the situation between you and this person will be in a meaningfully different configuration than it is now. The configuration may be a full and acknowledged relationship. It may be an early stage engagement that has not yet been formalized. It may be something in between, but it will be more defined than the current state. I want to share something about your own state going into the window. I sense you have been carrying a kind of uncertainty about love that has been operating for some time. The uncertainty has had specific texture. You have been wondering whether someone who could meet you at the level you need to be met would actually appear. You have been wondering whether you have been calibrating your hopes too high or whether the hopes are realistic. You have been doing your own interior work to make sense of what you actually want from a partnership in a way that does not depend on whether the partnership materializes. The work has been productive. The clarity you have developed is going to be useful in the period that is approaching. You are clearer about what you want than you were some time ago. The clarity will help you recognize whether what is being offered matches what you want and engage accordingly. I want to mention something specific about the matching. What is being offered does match what you want, not in every superficial detail. There may be elements of the actual situation that do not perfectly align with whatever picture you had been carrying, but in the substantive dimensions, the match is real. The person who is approaching you brings the qualities you have been hoping for, even if they package those qualities in a way that you did not specifically predict. The substantive match is what matters. The packaging is secondary. You will recognize the substantive match as the situation develops. The recognition may be quiet at first. It will become clearer with continued engagement. I want to take a moment to address a particular tension that may arise. There may be a difference between the pace at which this person wants to move and the pace at which you want to move. They have been arriving at certainty for some time on their own internal schedule, while you have been operating in a more open-ended mode. When the approach occurs, they may be ready for more clarity than you are ready to provide. This is a normal feature of asynchronous internal processes. Two people rarely arrive at certainty at the exact same moment. The asymmetry is not a problem if it is handled with mutual respect. I want to share how to handle the asymmetry well. You can be honest about where you are in your own process. You can say, in whatever language is comfortable for you, that you are interested, but that you need time to catch up to where they are. The honesty is better than a performance of either matching their intensity or appearing more reserved than you actually feel. The honest middle position respects both their feelings and your own pace. They will receive your honesty with appreciation if they are who I am sensing them to be. They have been preparing to meet someone honest. They will not be disappointed by your need for time. They will probably be relieved by it, because it means they can stop guessing about where you are. This is Cancer Tarot, and I want to share an observation about what makes a relationship with someone who has approached at this level of certainty unusually rewarding. The reward is the sense of being seen with precision. People who approach with the certainty I am describing have actually paid attention to who you are. They have noticed specifics. They have integrated those specifics into a coherent picture. When they engage with you, they engage with the actual you, not with a generic version of a romantic partner. The engagement is recognizable as engagement with you in a way that feels different from less attentive forms of engagement. The feeling of being seen with precision is one of the deeper pleasures of partnership. It is one of the things you will gain from this connection if it develops as I am describing. I want to mention something about how the connection will affect your sense of yourself over time. Being seen with precision tends to produce, in the seen person, a clearer sense of who they are. You will not become a different person through this relationship. You will become a clearer version of who you already are. The clearer version will be one that has had certain qualities reflected back to it accurately, which allows those qualities to become more accessible to the person themselves. You will discover, through how this person engages with you, qualities in yourself that you have not always had named. The naming will be a form of growth. The growth will produce continuing developments in your life that extend beyond just the relationship. I want to address something about the larger context of what is happening. The approach in May 2026 is one expression of a larger movement in your life. The movement is toward conditions that are more aligned with who you actually are. The relationship is one dimension of the alignment. Other dimensions will continue to develop in their own time. Your work may shift in directions that better suit you. Your friendships may evolve in ways that better support you. Your sense of purpose may clarify in ways that better motivate you. All of these dimensions are part of the same underlying realignment. The relationship that is approaching contributes to the realignment and is also one of the visible results of it. I want to share a practical orientation for the period leading up to and during the May 2026 window. Continue to live your life as you have been living it. Do not put your life on hold in anticipation of what is approaching. Continue your existing engagements, continue your existing relationships, continue your existing developments. The person who is approaching will be entering into the life you are actively living, not into a suspended state of waiting. The actively lived life is what makes you the person they have been arriving at certainty about. The continuing to live is the entire practice of preparation. There is no other preparation required. I want to mention something about how to handle the moments when the signs begin to appear. Receive them as they come. Do not overinterpret each individual sign. Do not require yourself to make immediate decisions based on early signs. Allow the situation to develop. Allow yourself to gather information about who this person is, what kind of engagement they are offering, what level of investment matches your own readiness. The gathering is part of how you arrive at your own clarity. The clarity will inform how you engage with each subsequent stage of the approach. By the time the more substantial developments occur, you will be operating from clarity rather than from confusion. I want to address a possible concern. There may be a part of you that wonders whether you should be doing something specific to prepare, some particular action, some particular adjustment to your life. I want to address this. You do not need to do anything specific. The conditions that will produce the meeting are already in place. The conditions did not require any specific action from you. They were produced by the cumulative effect of who you have been being over time. Your continuing to be who you are will continue to produce the conditions. The continuing is the practice. No additional preparation is required. I want to take a moment to acknowledge that you are loved in this situation. Not yet in the formal sense, perhaps, but in the substantive sense. Someone has arrived at love for you through real consideration. The love is real. The loving is happening in their interior, regardless of whether the external expressions have yet occurred or yet been received by you. You are loved. The information is yours. You can carry it with you into the next stretch of your life, knowing that you are not alone in your own existence. Someone is preparing to enter your life with the intention of being part of it for the long term. The preparation is occurring now. The arrival will follow. I want to share something specific about how May 2026 functions as a window. It is the period in which the building movement on their side intersects with the receptive position of your side. The intersection is what produces the visible developments. Before May 2026, the building was occurring without the intersection. The building was real but not visible to you. After May 2026, the intersection will have produced its initial effects and the relationship will have moved into a different phase. The window itself is the transition. The transition will be marked by specific events, some of which I have described in general terms. The specific events will occur on schedules that align with the broader window, with the most substantial developments in the latter part. Here on Cancer Tarot, I want to leave you with an emphasis on what is reliable in what I have shared. The most reliable element is the existence of someone who has arrived at certainty about you. This person is real. Their certainty is real. The approach is approaching. The approach may unfold somewhat differently from any specific description I have offered, but the underlying event is real. You will encounter the approach. You will recognize it for what it is, perhaps not immediately. But as the cumulative signs accumulate into a clear picture, the picture will be unmistakable by the end of the window. I want to acknowledge the work you have done to be in the position you are now in. The work has been substantial, even when it has been invisible. The endurance of difficult periods, the maintenance of your own dignity, the continuing development of yourself, often without external support. All of this constitutes work. The work has produced you, as you currently are, ready to be encountered by someone who can recognize what you are. The recognition is occurring on their side. The being recognized is approaching you. The combination is what May 2026 represents. Walk into the window with the awareness that something significant is approaching and with the willingness to engage with it at your own pace when it arrives. The awareness is not strained. The willingness is not anxious. Both are gentle. The gentleness is what makes the receiving sustainable. Sustainable receiving is what allows the relationship to develop into the form it is meant to take. The form may surprise you in some respects. The substance will not. The substance has been the consistent feature of what I have been sensing throughout this reading. The substance is reliable. The substance is what you can trust. You are about to be approached by someone who has decided that you are the one they want. The decision is settled in them. The approach is being prepared. The window in which the approach becomes visible is May 2026. You will encounter the early signs and then the more substantial developments across the window. By the end of the window, the situation will be meaningfully different. The difference will be in the direction of greater clarity and greater connection. Receive the approach when it begins. Receive the signs as they come. Respond from your own honesty at your own pace. The pacing is yours to set. Your honesty is the foundation. Your own clarity is the compass. With these in place, you will navigate the unfolding well. The unfolding will produce, by its end, a configuration of your romantic life that is meaningfully better than the configuration you have been operating in. The meaningfully better is not a fantasy. It is a real future approaching at the pace I have described. You are wanted. You are seen. You are about to be approached by someone who has done the work to recognize what you are and who is now committed to engaging with you on terms that match the recognition. The recognition is correct. The commitment is real. The approach is approaching. You will know it when it occurs. The knowing will come gradually as the signs accumulate. By the end of the window, the knowing will be clear. Walk forward into the next stretch of your life with the awareness that this is approaching and with the dignity of someone who knows they are worthy of being approached at this level. The dignity is appropriate. You have earned it. The earning is part of why the approach is happening. Continue to be who you have been. The being is what produced the approach. The being is what will sustain it. The being is the entire practice. The practice is enough. The rest will follow. The rest will be good. The rest will be yours. The window is opening. The approach is approaching. You are exactly where you need to be. Stand here. Continue your life. Receive the signs as they come. Trust the unfolding. The unfolding is gentle. The unfolding is reliable. The unfolding is yours. By the end of May 2026, the situation between you and the person who has decided about you will be in a configuration that is more aligned with what you have been working toward in dimensions you may not have always articulated clearly to yourself. The alignment will be visible. The visibility will be a confirmation of what you have been preparing for. The preparation is paying. The paying continues from here. You are loved. Walk forward in the knowledge of this. The knowledge will sustain you through the period of waiting and through the period of engagement that follows. The sustaining is one of the gifts. The gift is yours. The gift continues. Walk forward. The approach is coming. You will receive it. The receiving will be good. The good will continue. Trust this. Live in this. The window is open. The arrival is in motion. You are ready.